Morning, people of the world on Periscope. Let's just stop you trying to see me. There you go. Morning, everybody. I'm here in my Aberdeen office waiting for a client. So we've seen this before where the phone rings and I have to jump away, but hopefully I'll stay here. And this morning I was going to talk to you about the concept of an addictive personality. As I notice, look, my hair's all over the place this morning. That's a good thing about sitting in front of a camera, isn't it? Okay. Fine. Anyway, addictive personalities. You know those people who say, I've got an addictive personality? Let's just think for a moment what an addiction is. An addiction, in my world, is using a substance to suit a purpose. There are two purposes that lead you to using a substance, and that's a really important part of it. The first reason is that you need to escape from a feeling that you can't escape from without using that substance. Now, when I say substance, I mean anything. Anything that you do or use to allow you to escape. So it can be when you felt really rubbish about yourself at school and all the cool kids smoked, then you starting to smoke made you feel that you fitted in. That is you escaping from feeling rubbish about yourself by using cigarettes to fit in. It can be with alcohol, where thoughts and stresses of the day are too difficult to cope with, so you drink to be able to cope. It can be the same with food. Food is also used as an addictive substance, in the sense that you use it to escape. People who often binge eat do it, it's very mindless. If you ask people when they're binge eating what they're getting while they're eating, it's mindless. And that's a good thing sometimes. To be a bit mindless when everything else is too hard is quite nice. Drugs are the same, right? So every substance that we use and that we might class as an addiction is actually used to allow us to either escape from something like I just described or give us something. So there was a top 10 list posted in The Independent the other day about top 10 comfort foods that the British like. Funny that, isn't it? Quite happily in The Independent post that we can get a feeling from a food. And yet when everybody wants to talk about dealing with obesity and things like that, they put tax on sugar and things like that. Really? We all described the favourite food from our childhood. There was a top 10 favourite foods from childhood, top 10 foods that we eat to comfort ourselves, and it's societally, that's not even a word, is it? It's just accepted that that's okay. So you can use a substance to give you a feeling. So you can use a substance like food to make you feel happy, safe, comforted, remind you of good times. You can use alcohol to give you confidence that you wouldn't have without it. You can use drugs to make you feel chilled, that don't make you feel chilled without them. So we all turn to, when we have a substance that we use, we all turn to that substance for a reason in the first place. At some point, with some substances, they become physically addictive. But the mental addiction is what drove you to them in the first place. And it's not a mental addiction, it's a mental need. Imagine I put a button on a wall, right? And you knew if you'd had a really stressful day, you could press that button and it would make you feel better. Why would you not press the button? And that's all that's happening. Your subconscious is saying, press the button. And you're using a substance. The interesting thing is, with smoking, let's take smoking, for example, the physical addiction part of smoking is a matter of minutes. It's a mental addiction. It's the justification you give yourself. It smokes to chill you out, gives you a bit of breathing space, ironically. Lots of different reasons that people say they smoke for. And one of the things that quite often stops people giving up smoking is that they worry about putting weight on if they stop smoking because they think smoking keeps the weight off. Well, here's the thing. If smoking was an appetite suppressant, there would be 20-foot billboards everywhere from the cigarette companies going, smoke, lose weight, it's the ideal solution. It's not. What happens is, if you stop smoking and you still have a need for a feeling, then you will turn to whatever substance satisfies that need. So many people smoke for a particular purpose, mental purpose, and then without the cigarettes they still need that thing satisfied, so they eat, because food gives them the same thing. So yes, stopping smoking can lead to putting weight on, but only because you've not dealt with the reason you started smoking in the first place. That's what I do when I deal with addiction. So I don't believe there's such a thing as an addictive personality. I think there's just a whole bunch of people out there that are struggling to cope and have found something that works. And unless you get rid of the need to cope, you will always need the thing that works, the button on the wall, the thing that gets you through. So when you come and see me about any sort of addiction, and it doesn't matter whether you class it as an addiction or a dependency or you just find it hard to resist, honestly, labels don't matter to me. All that matters is when you're struggling with something and you find it almost impossible to resist that something, then it's your subconscious that's getting in the way. And your subconscious believes you will either get a feeling from that something or escape from a feeling by using that something. We need to change it so that your subconscious realizes you don't get feelings from substance, the feelings come from inside of you. And also get it so that you don't feel that you need to escape. If you don't feel you need to escape, if you feel you can cope with whatever comes your way, then you don't need to turn to the thing. And that's the weirdest thing probably about coming to me to help you get over an addiction of any sort, from smoking to food to alcohol to gambling, is that very often when you walk out my therapy room door, you don't stop the thing. Because you need to learn that you can cope without it. So people don't, obviously you don't stop eating, because that would be a bit of a problem really, and that wouldn't really be very successful therapy if you walked out my room and you stopped eating. That would be a bad result. But anyway, everything else, people who smoke don't stop smoking. It's not an aversion therapy. They learn enough about themselves to realise that smoking doesn't give them anything. People who stop drinking don't instantly stop drinking. Over time, they drink less and less and less to the point where they realise they don't need the drink anymore. That's what I do. I help you realise, help your subconscious realise that you don't need things. So no, I don't believe that there is such a thing as an addictive personality. What I believe is there's a people who've been through a whole load of stuff in their life and they've just used whatever they can to cope. And actually, that makes a lot of sense, right? If you've had a really tough time and you've found something that kind of helps you cope, why would you not do it? So I work at it at a deeper level than that. Anyway, that's my thought of the day. What's the time now? 10:30. So, on that note, thanks for joining in again and listening, and I'll catch up with some other musings at another time. Take care.